قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيد الأولين والآخرين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our weekly episode of Ask Zad, coming to you every Saturday and Sunday. And today is Sunday's edition that comes to you at 4 o'clock here in Mecca region. As usual, we'll go directly to your questions, and the first caller is Abdul Rafi' from Australia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
If we write a name in Arabic in which there is the name of Allah, like the name is Abdul, then one of the names of Allah, such as Abdul Rahman, since it contains the name of Allah and it is written in Arabic, not in English, do we have to burn or bury the paper? Jazakallah.
Wa jazakum. And we have Hamza from Bosnia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have a bank account where people could pay me, but the bank charges me with around €3 per month for their service and package. So I'm wondering, is this riba or interest? I should also mention that right now it is not a real necessity for me. So I get paid like once in a blue moon. So is this riba anyways? Jazakallah khairan.
Wa jazakum. Khan from Canada.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, there are people who say that such and such individual or such and such organization, they worship the Satan, or they have sold their souls to the devil and stuff like that. So my question is, did Allah give Iblis any such power to give, bring people in sort of success, or like give them whatever control over other people, stuff like that? Barakallah feek.
Fikum barakallah. And we have Irfan from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just want to ask a question like this.
I cannot hear you, Irfan. You have to remove your hand from the mic or from your mouth, or.
Okay, sorry. Is it any better?
Not that much.
I just want to ask how we usually stand for prayer.
I'm afraid I can't understand your question. Maybe if you get a better chance to call with a clearer line, that would be great. Mu'izz from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, it has been reported from Umar bin Khattab, Muaz bin Jabal, Abu Huraira, and Abdullah bin Masud that the one who skips single prayer is a kafir, and I believe this is a view correct, as is the view of Ibn Baz and Imam Ahmad. So should I divorce my wife who pray 4 times or 3 times? Because I believe the one who skips single prayer is kafir, as is the view of Sahaba.
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Faidan from Turkey. Assalamu wa barakatuh.
So you've mentioned a number of times that if a person can't pronounce a letter, then they should not pay attention too much to it, even if they repeat it, they'll pronounce it properly. But my mistake is a bit more obvious in a sense that, like, in the middle of a word, my voice just stops, and then there's a tiny pause, or when I elongate, it just cracks or shakes. My voice just shakes, and instead of like being like E, it just goes like E, that kind of thing. So it sounds very strange, and then I keep on repeating myself. So my question is this too big of a mistake that I should repeat myself, or should I ignore that completely, even if that sounds too strange?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Halima from Nigeria.
Salam alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam Allah.
Yeah, sorry, Sheikh. My brother have been having some strange feelings. Like, he's a person that has whispers of shaitan, and he normally seeks refuge in Allah from shaitan to his left side 3 times. But recently, he told me that he has these feelings that something pushes him to curse. So what he does is like he will say it to himself silently, and then seeks refuge from Allah 3 times to his left. So he would like to know if this is wrong or right. Like, saying it loud to himself, does it mean he has caused himself and the cause will come to pass?
Okay, I'll try to answer it, though I'm not very sure I understood it. Muhammad from the US.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I have waswas that I emit madhi, so I prayed Dhuhr and Asr, and if I remember correctly, I felt madhi come out during both prayers. I decided not to check because I have this waswas. After the Asr prayer, I felt madhi come out again. When I was getting ready to pray Maghrib, I went to the bathroom to check my pants for madhi, and I found traces of it on my pants. I then searched around for answers for how to deal with my situation, but I can't remember how long I spent searching for answers. So I prayed Maghrib, then Dhuhr, then Asr, and then another Asr. I prayed Asr twice in a row because I wasn't sure if praying 2 fard prayers, one after the other in the same spot, would invalidate the prayer, so I repeated the Asr prayer. So are my prayers valid?
I will answer, inshallah. Hisham from Malaysia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah. What can I do for you, Hisham?
Okay, Sheikh. So my question is that, is it permissible to draw and design helmets because they resemble the shape of the human head? So is this in any way, shape or form imitating the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Thank you, Sheikh.
Barakallah feek. Abdul Samir from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah. I think we've lost Abdul Samir. Fuad from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear Fadilatul Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, most of the restaurants in our country use nutmeg to eat.
I cannot hear you properly because you're breathing into the microphone.
Sheikh, most of the restaurants in our country use nutmeg to enhance the taste of foods. So now my question is, what can we do in this situation? Can we eat those foods? Sheikh, jazakallahu khairan fi dunya wal akhirah.
Wa jazakum. Muhammad from the Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my parents doesn't allow me to grow a beard. They say that I'm at high school, you have more time to go. And another reason they say it doesn't come properly. It gives a lot of space in between. And they usually find it when I am asleep because I can see the chin area with a lot of space in between. So I go along with my father in the salon for cut my hair. So he says to the...
We've lost Muhammad from the Emirates. Layla from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, my question is that my friend takes a loan from the non-Islamic bank. Also, she's paying a little bit interest on it. I was not agree at all to take our money from the bank. And now she's asking me to do a halal business of that money. And if I do a business, so she will take a little profit from me. And if I do a business, I will do all struggle like on my own in a halal business. So is that money and a halal business in which I will work hard all day in a halal way and doing a halal business? So is that money haram for me, or is this haram for my friend which took money from the bank?
I'll answer inshallah. Abdullah from Pakistan. Abdullah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, my question is that if I get money from bank after retirement and I gave it to the bank, and every month I am getting money from it, is it halal?
What do you mean by taking money from the bank? Do you mean that?
No, not from bank. I mean from the company after retirement.
Okay, so you're talking about provident funds after retirement?
Yes.
So
Yes, profit.
did they take from your salary a portion of it? Or it's just a bonus gift?
Yes, it's a bonus. I get money from company after retirement and I gave it to the bank. And now I'm getting every month.
Why do you give the bank?
For profit.
So you are investing and depositing in fixed the time deposit account so that you generate profit.
Yes.
Okay, I will answer inshallah. And we have Laween from Canada.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my question is, to my knowledge, there's like a dua after, what's it called, after wudu. I don't know how it goes, but is it like, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lahu, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, Allahumma ja'alni min al-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. Is this dua authentic? And like, I've heard of a reward saying like, if you say this after every single wudu, to the best of your ability, like you'll unlock the 8th gate of heaven and you get to pick which heaven that you want. Is this authentic or not? Jazakumullah khairan.
Wa jazakum. Abdul Sami' from Pakistan. Abdul Sami'.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, just wanted to ask that if a person is making dua by himself personally, so first of all, does he need to raise his voice? And second of all, does he need to say Ameen for a dua that he's saying it by himself?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Bilal from the US. Bilal. Bilal. Zain from Bangladesh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Sheikh.
Salamullah barakatuh.
I have 3 questions.
You can only ask one.
Oh, okay. Then about the salah. Like when to perform the sahu sujud. Like I get those like thinkings that when I say the dua in sujud or when I make a mistake in my dua or salah, I start thinking that my salah is not valid, and then I like it like I just go to sujud. So what should I do in these things?
Okay. And we have Irfan from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, I just wanted to ask, is celebrating Eid, Miladun Nabi, Siratun Nabi, is it, as we know, we are in Rabiul Awwal now, is it a bid'ah? And what is the definition of bid'ah, if you could please explain?
Okay.
In general terms.
Shihab from Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, we know that Quran is the speech of Allah, so it is one of the attributes of Allah. But in the second verse of Surah Baqarah, Quran says itself as a kitab. So how to understand it?
Okay. And we have Abdul Aziz from UK. Abdul Aziz.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Sheikh, you know, I have a bit of a problem. You know, basically, you know, with my bladder, I'm not sure if it's exactly like urinary incontinence, but I have this problem where you know, like it happens so often, and where like when I want to go to the toilet, like on my way and stuff, I leak a bit, and then I might get some urine and whatnot, and there's an impurity, on my on my legs sometimes and stuff, and I feel like this is it's really like impacting my worship and stuff and purity, because I feel like it's necessitating a hardship on me, because every time I have to, go in the bath and stuff and wash like the whole lower part of my body, because I have to wash the whole bit, because I'm not I'm not sure of the exact part, and I feel like this is necessitating hardship on me, Sheikh. So what to do? Because this is affecting me with my prayers, and I feel like it's making things harder for me.
Is it something you can see, or it's just a feeling you get?
It's a feeling, but I do feel like it's there.
But if you don't see it, how can you be sure it's there?
But if I check, I think it will be there.
If you think, but you never check.
Yeah, but I can feel it and stuff.
Okay, I will answer inshallah. And we have Rashad from Tunisia. Rahmatullah barakatuh.
Is it okay to say this dua for the people who want to get married or get a job? ربي إني لما أنزلت إليهم من خير فقير جزاك الله خير.
And we have Shad from Iraq.
Hello, Sheikh.
Yes.
I had a question. I've heard that Imam Ahmad has said that if someone says Allah has a body unlike other bodies, then that person is a kafir. Is this true?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. And Latifa from the US.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So my question is about Akika. I noticed that a lot of people, they don't know that when they give it to a boy, that they are meant to slaughter 2 sheep. So most of the people slaughter 1 sheep. So my question is, when the boy grow up and find out that they slaughter 1 sheep for him, should he slaughter 1 more sheep?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. And we have Nahid from Bangladesh. Nahid.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum salam.
One of my brother told me that we can only make long dua in sujud in only nafil prayers, not in sunnah or farad prayers. I do know that in farad prayer that duration is short, hence we can make long dua in sujud. But can we make long dua in sunnah prayer?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. And finally, we have Abdurrahman from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salatullah.
I'll just get the question out quick. There you go. So basically, let's say you're in Taraweeh, and obviously, normally we do the whole Quran in 30 days, isn't it? So if I have, let's say on my phone, or if I have a Quran Mus'haf with me, can I read along the translation, if that makes sense, while the salah is going on?
Okay, I will answer inshallah. So we have a short question. Stay tuned and inshallah we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the book Interactions of the Greatest Leader. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no one's wealth helped me as much as the wealth of Abu Bakr helped me. After which Abu Bakr began to weep and say, and is my life and wealth for anything besides you, O Messenger of Allah? This narration shows the level of etiquette and humbleness that Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, had in the presence of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For he likened himself to a slave of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by saying that his wealth was only for the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as his soul and self. This comes as no surprise, for the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has more right on the believers than themselves. He, may Allah be pleased with him, spent his wealth in the cause of Allah, and he consoled the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through his own self. So the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recognized that for him and said, in order to build his stature and to remind the ummah of his virtues, no one's wealth helped me as much as the wealth of Abu Bakr helped me. Among the benefits of this narration, it is important to keep good manners and humbleness in the presence of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thanking someone who has bestowed some favor on you, as well as supplicating for them, is part of having good manners. Reported by Al-Bukhari, reported by Al-Tirmidhi and Ibn Majah. Albani ruled it authentic in his book Sahih Al-Jami', the explanation of As-Sindi on the book of Ibn Majah, and At-Taysir بشرح الجامع الصغير.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. Abdul Rafi from Australia says the names of Allah Azza wa Jal, when written in Arabic on pieces of paper, like Abdullah, Abdul Rafi, Abdul Rahim, depending whether Rafi is one of Allah's names or not, as it's an issue of dispute. Do we have to dispose of such clips of papers? The answer is yes. All names of Allah Azza wa Jal must be honored. So you cannot just simply trash it. Either you burn it, or you shred it, or you bury it, or you at least cross over it so that it cannot be read. Hamza from Bosnia, he says his bank takes €3 every month from him. Is this riba? The answer is no. This is their service charges. As you live in a flat or an apartment and they take rent from you, this is the same thing. Khan from Canada, he says that there are people who worship Satan, individuals, organizations. So does Satan have the ability to assist them, do things worldly for them? The answer is yes. And we know that this is explained in the Quran, that some of the humans may use and utilize some of the jinn. So they worship them, and the jinn may enslave them, yet do favors for them, such as getting them money, or making their enemies sick, or this or that. But this comes at a price, which is losing the dunya and losing the hereafter as well. I can't read my handwriting. Someone from Pakistan says, this is a brother who says that he follows the opinion of four of the companions. That is, he mentioned, I think, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and Umar ibn Khattab, etc. And he says he follows that opinion, which states that whoever misses one salat is a kafir. And this is the opinion of Ibn Baz. And he says his wife skips prayers every now and then. So should he stay with her? Akhi, if you follow an opinion, don't go do fatwa shopping. Now you said that these four companions stated that who misses one salat is a kafir. And this is not the most authentic opinion. However, let's assume it is. Do you have proof that they had said it? Because nowadays everybody quotes whoever he wishes. Someone comes and said, oh, Napoleon Bonaparte said so and so and so. Prove it. Show me the chain of narrators. Show me documentation. Just because one scholar who died 300 years ago claimed that these companions 1100 years ago said such and such, without bringing the chain of narrators, the sanad, the book, the reference, those who heard it from them, does not make it authentic. And this is similar to one of the brothers who asked and said that Imam Ahmad said, whoever says Allah has a body unlike other bodies, he's a kafir. Where did Imam Ahmad say this? Oh, I don't know, Sheikh. I heard someone say that he heard someone who heard it from a friend. So subhanallah azza wa jal. It's raining men now. How is this possible? How do you come and claim that Imam Ahmad said without verification, without proving that this is from the book so-and-so, with a correct chain of narrators to Imam Ahmad? This is unacceptable. Point two, when you assume something, who among the scholars you know personally that said this? There is a quote that Imam Ahmad said that whoever abandons one prayer is a kafir, according to some scholars. This is not the opinion of Imam Ibn Baz, may Allah have mercy on him. But when you cherry pick, when you just randomly check for fatwas and you collect what you like, this is not proper way of doing it. Thirdly, if you have the conviction and you are following that opinion, why you ask me? 1 + 1 = 2. If you believe that a person who misses one salat is a kafir, then your wife is a kafir according to your analysis, and hence you cannot be with her, and the children that you bring from her are born out of wedlock, and you cannot inherit her, you have to defer immediately. Why disturb the things that need to be kept as they are? Why do you dig old graves and open old files when you know that the scholars say as long as a person prays on and off, he's still a Muslim? So no, I'm convinced of the extreme opinion. Okay, that's your choice. Go ahead with it. Why ask me? If you want my opinion, I told you my opinion. Those who pray on and off, they're still labeled as Muslims until proven otherwise. You guys want to jump the gun. You want to prove them kafir until proven otherwise, and this is the methodology of the Khawarij. Fedan from Turkey, she says that the mistakes that take place in Salat are due to the shivering in her voice. I think it's a she. And that sometimes she's out of breath, so instead of saying غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, she takes a pause, lean, to take her breath and continue. So does this invalidate the salat? No, it does not invalidate the salat, inshallah. Halima from Nigeria, her brother has a problem whenever he wants to seek refuge from shaitan, seeks refuge in Allah from shaitan, he coughs. So he doesn't do that anymore, and instead he, let's say, says it silently to the left, and then he blows. So is this permissible? If he only removes his tongue without uttering it, so he just says, he doesn't say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, he says, and this is during prayer, by the way, to seek refuge in Allah 3 times and spit to your left. This is during prayer, not generally speaking. Generally speaking, you can say it as many times as you wish. There's no problem in that. Muhammad, he has whispers that there is Mahdi being discharged. And these whispers are what shaitan works hard to influence us by. What does that mean? It's not certain. And there is a legal maxim in Islam, one of the 5 important legal maxims in Islam, that states certainty is not affected by doubt. This is pure. Why? I'm certain it's pure. Maybe there is some stain of urine on it. Maybe it's doubtful. Take it and throw it in the dustbin. People think that, for example, I prayed Dhuhr or Asr. After I finished it, I got a thought that maybe I passed wind during prayer. Maybe is doubtful. Throw it into the dustbin. But it's a strong feeling, Sheikh. It's not certainty. So your prayer is still valid. Iman and kufr. I'm a believer. He's a believer. She's a believer. I cannot take someone out of the fold of Islam without certainty. Maybe they have corrupt aqidah. Maybe they think bad of Allah. Maybe they said something that could have taken them out of the fold of Islam. Maybe, perhaps, I feel, I think. All of these are phrases of doubt. Throw them in the dustbin. Because your certainty of being a Muslim cannot be simply crossed out as a non-Muslim for something that is doubtful. Likewise, I have a feeling that I emitted madhi, prostatic fluid. Are you sure? No, it's just a feeling. If it's just a feeling, and it so happened that you checked number of times and could not find anything, then this is from shaitan. Whenever you get the feeling, ignore it and pray. So should I check every time before going to prayer? The answer is no. You only check when you go to answer the call of nature. So he prayed Dhuhr, Asr. Before praying Maghrib, he went and checked and he found traces of madhi. Your Dhuhr and Asr are valid. Move on. Why, Sheikh? Because you don't know when it was emitted. It might have been emitted since Fajr, and it might have been emitted just before you checked few minutes. Yeah, but I had a feeling. The feeling does not count again, because this opens the OCD gates for shaitan to mess up with your head. Hisham from Malaysia. Hisham says, can we design helmets because they look like the head and they take the shape of a head? So is this permissible? So Hisham, is it permissible to design gloves? Is it permissible to design shirts because it resembles the body of a human being? Helmets are protective gear, and it does not have eyes, it does not have facial features, it's not even a real head. When you see a helmet, no one says that this is a head of a human being. So there's no problem in that at all. Abdul Sami' from Pakistan. When I make dua for myself, do I have to raise my voice? The answer is no. This is between you and Allah. As long as you're moving your lips and tongue with the dua, even if it's silent, then this is sufficient. Do I have to say Ameen? The answer is no, because you're making the dua and that is sufficient. Those who hear you may say Ameen, but you yourself, you don't say Ameen after your own dua. Fuad from Bangladesh, nutmeg. Most of the food contains nutmeg. Should we refrain from eating it? Nutmeg is an issue of dispute among scholars. They all agree that a large quantity of it intoxicates. And some of them said that if you have a very small portion of it, then this is permissible to mix with other spices and consume. Others say, no, the rule that the Prophet said, whatever intoxicates in large quantities, then small quantities is prohibited. And it is an intoxicant. Therefore, other group of scholars said it's totally prohibited to consume. So what's the ruling? If you know for certain that these people are using it, you must not eat from it. This is what I'm inclined to. This is the opinion I follow. And if you're not sure, you're not obliged to ask, because they're Muslims, and the default that Muslims don't use haram, the default. So you don't have to ask. But if you were to know, then you must refrain. Muhammad from the Emirates, his parents do not allow him to grow up his beard. They say you're still young in high school and it's not even, it should be trimmed. And akhi, there is no obedience to anyone other than to Allah Azza wa Jal. No one can obey humans while disobeying Allah. Likewise, when a girl reaches puberty, wants to wear the hijab, her mother says, you're too young. Wait until you go to college. And she forbids her from covering her hair or wearing decent clothes. She asks, what do I do? The answer is, do not obey your mom. She gets angry, she scolds me, she shouts. Let her hit the roof. Who cares about your mom? Who cares about your father if he tells you to disobey Allah Azza wa Jal? He's not worthy of being obeyed. Yeah, but Sheikh, he's my father, she's my mother. There is no obedience to any creature while disobeying Allah Azza wa Jal. This is a rule of thumb. This is why we are Muslims, because we've submitted our will to our Creator. What Allah tells us to do, we do it. Now, the general question we ask people, do you want to follow Sharia or your whims and desires? Even if you ask your parents, do you want to follow Sharia or your whims and desires? They would say, Sharia. A'udhu billah. Who doesn't want to follow Sharia? Then ask them the second question. In shaving my beard or trimming it, are you ordering me to follow Sharia or your whims and desires? They would not have the audacity to say Sharia, because they know that this is against Sharia, against the rule of Allah, against the Quran and the Sunnah. And who are they? So that you obey them in disobeying Allah Azza wa Jal. Definitely, it's a no-brainer. Layla from Pakistan, her friend took an interest-based loan from a bank. Now she wants to share with her in a business. She wants to go into partnership, into a business with this haram money. So Layla is doubtful. Can I do this? The answer is yes. It's not your concern where people get their money, as long as it's not stolen. This is haram money for the earner. But if she gives it to you as a capital or a share in a partnership in a company, this is totally permissible for you to utilize and to make business with. Abdullah from Pakistan, he asked a question about provident fund or retirement fund. So his question was a little bit ambiguous, but at the end of the day, the result is clear. Whether the company gives you retirement money or gives you end of service indemnity or gives you a bonus, a lump sum bonus, regardless where this money came from, if you take it and deposit it in a bank and the bank generates profit to you, this is riba, as long as the bank is an interest-based bank, a conventional bank. So you put in the time deposit or fixed deposit account for 6 months or 1 year, and it generates 15% or 10%. And mashallah, this is easy money. I have my capital stored. There's no possibility of losing. And they generate this riba. This is totally prohibited. It's riba. If it's an Islamic bank, a real practicing Islamic bank, with a Sharia board that overlooks the transactions of the bank, not a Sharia board that meets once every 2 weeks for a couple of hours and they sign resolutions and they leave without knowing whether this is implemented or not, and they come at the end of the year and take $1 million or $2 million as bonus from the bank. No, this is not a real proper Islamic bank. There has to be a department that follows these resolutions and ensure implementing them in the transactions of the bank. If this is the case, then yes, putting your money for them to invest and give you return, which is not fixed. It's not a fixed amount of dollars or euros that they're giving you every month. Rather, it fluctuates according to the profits, and there is a possibility of losing, though it's very rare. There's no problem in that, and this is halal. Laween from Canada, he says the dua, أشهد لا إله إلا الله وأشهد محمد رسول الله اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين واجعلنا من الطاهرين, etc. And the 8 gates of Jannah, would he be admitted from any of it he wishes. To my recollection, this is an authentic hadith narrated by Imam Muslim in the Sahih. Zain from Bangladesh went to prostrate for forgetfulness. And this is a frequently asked question. To know the rules of prostration of forgetfulness, you need to learn what are the pillars of Salat, what are the mandatory acts and words to be said in Salat, and what are the voluntary acts. Because if you make a mistake in voluntary acts, or deliberately abandon them, your prayer is still valid and there is no need for sujood al-sahw. So if every time I don't raise my hands, or if I raise my hands every single movement, even when going to sujood, when rising from the sujood, this is a voluntary act. It does not require sujood al-sahw. Pillars, you have to identify so that when you miss one by mistake, your prayer is invalid. Even if you missed it out of forgetfulness, it's invalid unless you retract that and attain it and offer it in the prayer itself before it concludes. But if I went home and I dope slapped my head and said, oops, Maghrib, I prayed 3 rak'ahs with only 5 sujood. I missed 1 sajda. Khalas, it's over. The prayer is invalid. I have to repeat it. But if I remember that I missed 1 sujood while in prayer, that rak'ah is void, and what comes after it takes its place, and I have to offer a new rak'ah in addition for that missed and invalid one. So it's a long process. I don't think we have the time to explain it, but if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find it explained. If you go to my playlist in the YouTube channel, in the Islamic fiqh series or in Umdat al-Ahkam series, you will find in details what are the mandatory acts, what are the pillars, and what are the voluntary, and then you can figure it out. But to sum it all up, if you make a mistake in your ruku', and this is your question, if I'm not mistaken. So instead of saying Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, you said Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Sami Allahu liman hamidah. And then you dope slapped yourself, said, what? I said the wrong dhikr. What to do? You cannot rectify it because you're already standing now. So the wrong dhikr was said in the wrong place, which means that you have to prostrate 2 prostrations of sahu before the salam. If you were in the ruku' and said Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, and then remember that no, this is ruku', and immediately you said Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, there's nothing to do. No sujood sahu required because you rectified it on the spot and you've added Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, which is a voluntary dhikr. There's no problem in that. So I hope this answers your question. Irfan from the UK, what is the ruling on celebrating the Mawlid, the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ? And is it a bid'ah? And what is a bid'ah? A bid'ah, or innovation, is something created, invented in Islam to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, which the need to do it at the time of the Prophet ﷺ was there, and he did not do it. So you want to mimic forms of worship and you want to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Now the question, is it permissible to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ? Point number 1. All Muslims agree that the Prophet ﷺ died on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. No doubt about that among any of the Muslims. However, they differ whether the Prophet was born in the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal or in the 9th, as Rahiq al-Makhtoom's author clearly stated that this is the most authentic opinion, that he was born the 9th. So by celebrating his Mawlid every single year on the 12th of Rabi', you actually are celebrating his death and not his birth. Secondly, the Prophet never celebrated his own birthday, nor the birthday of Ibrahim, peace be upon him, or Musa, or Isa, or any other prophet. Neither did the companions, may Allah be pleased with him, who loved him the most and were the most knowledgeable people at his time and after his time. Nor did the tabi'een, nor did anyone of the tabi'in. And the Prophet said, the best of generations is my generation, that is of the companions, and that which follows them, the tabi'in, and that which follows them, that is the tabi'in. So if these favorite generations, which are the best of the best, never celebrated his birthday, do you have the love they had for him? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have any basis to do something they did not do? other than being an innovation from shaitan? Now, what happens during these birthdays or Mawlid is not something to be proud of. The free mixing, the singing, the innovation, and the shirk. There is blatant shirk in it, especially when they recite these poems such as Al-Burda, and they say things that, O Prophet of Allah, if you're not taking my hand on the day of judgment, then I will be among the losers. It is from your generosity that this whole world and the hereafter is created, His generosity, and from your knowledge is the knowledge of the preserved tablets and the pen. Subhanallah, what did you leave for Allah Azza wa Jal? If this is all in the Prophet ﷺ's knowledge and generosity. And this is where people of shirk come, when they say that the Prophet in his grave is Hazir Nazir, and he controls the world as he controls the palm of his hand from his grave. And they take Allah's beautiful names and attributes and give it and award it to him. When they say to his grave, Assalamu alayka ya awwal, Assalamu alayka ya akhir, Assalamu alayka ya zahir, Assalamu alayka ya batin. So without any shred of doubt, those who celebrate the Mawlid are innovators. If they loved the Prophet ﷺ, they would have honored his sunnah. They would have honored his aqeedah. They would have honored the way he lived and honored it throughout the whole year. 360 days, not only one day in a year like the Christians do, and they celebrate Christmas and they do all heinous things that they claim that that night would forgive all of their sins. So that they have a carte blanche for the next new year. This is all not part of Islam. It wasn't done by the companions, nor the tabi'een, nor the tabi'it tabi'een. All four imams of schools of thought say it's an innovation, never celebrated it themselves. So now you know all more than all of these people, that you have a different version of Islam. I can't help you. No one can help you. If people say that the heavens is blue, the sky is blue, and you say, well, I think it's pink or it's green. C'est la vie. No one can do anything for you. Shihab from Bangladesh, he says, Quran is the speech of Allah. So how is it mentioned in the Quran that it's a book in so many places, a book that we have revealed? Well, when we talk about Quran being the speech of Allah, and then Allah has talked about it, and this is one of Allah's attributes. But we know that it is written in the preserved tablet. So does this mean that the preserved tablet is not created? It is created. It is written in the books and on paper, and we say it with our voices. And all of these are not attributes of Allah. The Quran is the attribute of Allah. The Quran we hear is the speech of Allah Azza wa Jal. But the book, the paper, the ink, all of these are created. So there is no need to confuse one with another. The Quran is the speech of Allah. It is uncreated. It is Allah's attribute. Other means, such as the book itself, the papers, the ink, these are created, but the Quran is not created. Abdul Aziz, he has, again, whispers in purity, and he is led to wash his whole body. And I ask him specifically, does he see any impurity? He says, no. It's just a feeling. Akhi, the feeling does not count. And these are whispers of shaitan. You don't see it, it doesn't exist. But I feel, I believe, I think, maybe, perhaps, all of these are whispers from shaitan. Throw them in the dustbin. Rashad from Tunisia, can we say the dua of Musa in Surah Al-Qasas, Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir? For someone who wants to get married or someone who wants to get a job, there's no problem in that. This is a general dua you can always ask Allah. Rashad from, I think Rashad, or someone from Iraq, He says, Imam Ahmad says that whoever says that Allah has a body like no other bodies, he's a kafir. I don't believe that Imam Ahmad had ever said this. I've never heard it myself. And as I stated earlier, such a phrase or such quotes are endless. Everybody could say, I could say now, well, Imam Shafi'i says, if you don't drink green tea, your whole day would be ruined. Sue me. Everybody could lie. But in Islam, we need to verify. Did Imam Ahmad say this? Then we have to cross-reference this with the Quran and the Sunnah. What was meant by that? So, describing Allah of having a body is not permissible. It is not the way of the Salaf. We don't say Allah has a body, and we do not say Allah does not have a body. Hey, what are you doing? Akhi, we cannot describe Allah except with what Allah described Himself and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam described Him of. And whenever there is no such a description, we abstain and refrain from confirming or denying. Because when someone says, no, Allah has a body, he wants to simulate Allah Azza wa Jal to His creation. So he says, yeah, the body is like this, the body is like that, it does this, it does that, as if Allah is like the humans, and Allah is unlike anything we know. And those who says, no, Allah does not have a body. If they mean by that Allah does not have a hand, that does not have a face, does not have a foot, that Allah Azza wa Jal does not have fingers, that Allah Azza wa Jal does not rise upon the throne. No, we say, no, wait. Your attempt to deny Allah Azza wa Jal from such a right thing, that Allah does not have a body, we don't say He has or He does not have. But your attempt is to stop and dismantle the fact of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah that Allah Azza wa Jal has attributes. This is what your intention of is. So between Mu'attilah and Mujassimah, we have to take the stance of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah and say what is right. Latifa, he says that a child grew up finding out that his parents slaughtered only one sheep. And she knows that a male, the sunnah is to slaughter 2 sheep. So is it permissible to slaughter 1 sheep now? The answer is yes, no problem in that at all. Nahid from Bangladesh. I managed to read this. She says that there's a scholar who says that you cannot prolong your dua except in nafil prayer. Sunnah prayer or fard prayer, you must not prolong the dua. This is bogus. Whoever differentiates must bring evidence from Quran and Sunnah. You don't have evidence from the Quran and Sunnah, remain silent. Because there is no difference. You can make dua and prolong your dua in sujood of salat, in whether it's fard, sunnah, nafil, or whatever. Finally, Abdurrahman from the UK, he says, when I pray Taraweeh throughout the month of Ramadan, I read the Quran from my mobile phone, but I also read the translation in English. Is this permissible? The answer is totally prohibited. And it invalidates your prayer. Might as well read the Daily Mirror. What's the difference? Oh, Sheikh, this is a translation. Translation is not Allah's words. This is in English, and it's someone's understanding and translation. And it's not permissible to do this during Salat. Yes, if you're not praying and you're reading the Quran on your own time, and you read the translation side by side, this is totally legit without any problem, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have until we meet next Saturday between Maghrib and Isha, Makkah region. I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
قل هذه سبيلي أدعو إلى الله على بصيرة أنا ومن اتبعني وسبحان الله وما أنا من المشركين